Hello everyone, and welcome back to my new F1 2016 career mode, guys. I know we spoke about this about a week ago. I said we would be kicking off a new career mode on the F1 2016 game, as the F1 2016 game, as unfortunately all my files from my final half a season in the Force India unfortunately corrupted, which was a huge shame, I won't lie. But today, guys, we are starting our new career mode. Hopefully you guys are ready for what is about to come. Just typing in my final few details here on the game setup thing. Obviously, we're running a very similar sort of character system as we did last time. Kind of like almost trying to continue this career mode as such. So we're running the same number, the same driver, everything's exactly the same. Apart from the team that we will be using, and the team that we're going to be using this season will be Sauber F1 team. We are going to be teammates with Marcus Ericsson here for our new F1 2016 career mode. A very interesting team I've decided to opt with. Technically the worst team on the grid. They have got the worst car performance of any team at the start of this game. We're going to be running a 25% race with full qualifying. Now, the reason I've decided to run 25% race, guys, is because after Christmas, I have got a different career mode planned as well that will be probably the biggest and most difficult career mode I have ever done on any Formula 1 game. So hopefully, you guys will be ready for that. That'll probably come sort of around 2/3 of the way through this first season of my Sauber career mode. But obviously the big aim from this Sauber career mode is to obviously get to the top. Technically, guys, this is a completely new start for F1 2016, so it's been set completely back to the basics of the game. I had planned to do this anyway once Force India career mode had ended for a few reasons, but I won't bother dipping into that now. But yeah, so this, obviously the performance of the cars is exactly the same as the start of the F1 2016 career mode that I did originally. So we won't be seeing, I think it was Red Bull right at the very top, obviously Force India right at the very top. Sauber, obviously the team that we are now driving for, were actually, I think, sort of 6th on the development chart. They were always just outside the top 10. But, we won't bother getting into that right now, as obviously we've got our team lady who sorts out lots of things for us. Never remember her name or whatnot. But still, she's telling me loads of random stuff that we already know. I am going to mainly gloss over sort of all this sort of thing, like all these character talking things, because obviously everyone's already seen it a lot before, and there's not too much different to it. But let's move on then into the Australian Grand Prix, and flying straight away into free practice. As you can see, we're doing our track acclimatization lap. Now this Sauber, guys, I noticed almost instantly the turn-in on it. I would not want to drive this car on a pad. The turn-in is horrendous on this thing. It just, I don't know what's wrong with the front end. I've got all the ballast on the rear and the front just doesn't want to turn in. Fortunately there, we still managed to get a purple score on our first lap. But just, this car just feels so heavy over the front end, so I think reducing the weight of it will definitely be something we try to focus on during the early phases of this career mode. But overall, I won't lie, guys, I saw potential for it. Although it wasn't too strong in a straight line and it wasn't too good through sort of the corners, it still seemed to be, there wasn't anything terrible with it. Like the Force India, I remember the downforce on it, there was just so little downforce around the corners, it just wasn't a very strong car apart from straights, so Monza. But this car, although don't get me wrong, it was weak everywhere. I still saw potential for it overall. But as you can see there, at the end of free practice, we actually managed to qualify. We actually managed to get P15 there, ahead of my old teammate Sergio Perez. Marcus Ericsson unfortunately finishes in last there, but obviously we were on a set of the super soft tyres. Another thing I would like to mention, guys, is this career mode is on Ultimate AI, so it doesn't get any harder than this. The reason I chose Ultimate AI is the fact I'm going to be running setups every race as well. So the setups that mainly I use for AOR will be the ones I use for this. But now just having a look at the R&D points that we gained, obviously we get that initial team allocation as well. So we've instantly got 532 R&D points that will be good for upgrades. But as I was saying, guys, yeah, Ultimate AI for this career mode, so it's even more difficult than originally planned. But Chris now is just explaining to us about the R&D. I'm just going to sort of talk overall what he's talking about. But yeah, so hopefully that should even add a bit more spice to it. I noticed on my old career mode I ran Legend AI, and I won't lie, guys, there were some races that were just incredibly easy with the Legend AI. So I'm hoping, with the Sauber, that with Ultimate AI, I don't think realistically we will be getting points consistently in the first sort of opening 8 races or whatnot. Up to Baku, I'll be surprised, if we've scored points on more than 3 occasions, maybe. I think, though, we should still be able to outperform the car. Overall, I'm not trying to big myself up or anything, but I think I'm pretty strong on this game anyway. Obviously, with AOR and such, this really just boosted my pace. So yeah, Ultimate AI, I'd like to think, we still be sort of getting top 14, top 15s. But just having a look at the development graphs, you can see there, Sauber, bottom of the pack, half pretty much what Mercedes have got in comparison to total potential. But obviously, we want to be up near Mercedes by the end of our career mode. But just having a look now through the upgrades, what upgrade are we going to go for? I instantly looked at the chassis weight. We just want to make this car lighter as quickly as we can, just because it desperately needs it. And I'm actually going to opt for this chassis weight, but hopefully, that will help the car when we move to Bahrain next time out. But let's move on then into Q1 here. As you can see on our flying lap on these super soft tyres, the team didn't think, we'll be able to get through. So they were like, just use any tyres that you want, really. There's no real point. We'll get a new fresh set tomorrow. And in all honesty, guys, I don't think we'll get through Q1 either. I'd like to think, we could be sort of P17, P18 ahead of my teammate. But coming down through the final corner here, as you can see, the revs just seem to be really odd. They sort of bounce. When you get to the top end of the revs, they sort of bounce. But coming towards the line, we actually go P5 there, ahead of Danny Kvyat. Obviously, not many drivers have ran their laps, but between Kvyat and Alonso there was very, very strong for myself. And at the end of the session there, we actually, just have a look there, Lewis Hamilton was on the pole, but we've stayed in P15 there, so we've actually managed to advance straight away into Q2, knocking out Romain Grosjean, both Renaults, both Manners, and my teammate there down in P21. But straight into Q2 in my first ever race was pretty damn impressive, if I do say so myself. I was very, very happy and also surprised with that from this first race. Valtteri Bottas there as well, guys, didn't we notice? I decided to opt to go with the soft tyres, which is a bit of an interesting call. But now moving on to Q2, as you can see, the sun is starting to set as we dip a wheel in the gravel there, coming into the final few corners here, as you can see. Just making sure, we maximise the corner, the width of the track there, to maximise our speed. But coming towards the line now, what time are we going to do? Coming towards the line, it is going to be a 1.9 seconds, I think that was, off the pole. But I can't read that, it's just too small in the corner. But now moving on to the end of qualifying, we're going to end up remaining in P12 there, right behind my old teammate of Sergio Perez. But P12 there, and it was very, very strong performance. Hamilton and Rosberg locked out the front row, with Daniel Ricciardo in third. The the Ferraris fourth and fifth, with Max Verstappen in sixth. But us in P12 there, a very, very strong qualifying from myself. But let's move on then into the Australian Grand Prix.
Expectation and anticipation, and bearing the weight of that burden today is a place we know very well indeed. It's Albert Park. The story of the season begins here then with the Australian Grand Prix, and it's time for the first chapter to be written. We go racing today then in the state of Victoria, where the drivers have 16 corners and 3.3 miles to navigate at an average lap speed of around 120 miles an hour. Close proximity of the barriers makes accidents inevitable, and recent history shows us that a safety car is not at all out of the question. I'm joined today in the commentary box, as I will be throughout this season, by a great racing driver, former F1 competitor, man who was world champion once upon a time as well, and an all-round top chap. It's the one and only Anthony Davidson. And tell me, here we are, first Grand Prix of the season, first time racing these cars. So what are the big questions that need to be answered here, in your view?
First of all, Crofty, thanks for the glowing introduction. I just want to say it's a real privilege to be here. Can't wait to see what this competitive field has in store for us this season. Now, to answer your question, obviously there's the question of performance and race trim, but really this is going to be all about reliability. It's the first Grand Prix of the season, don't forget. To their limits. Formula 1 cars are full of very sophisticated, but also very sensitive technology. So the most important thing today is to get to the end of the race, keep everything in good condition, and try.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting.
So here we are then, guys, on the grid, ready for the Australian Grand Prix. It's looking like a very, very sunny race today, and we're actually going to try and undercut the AI here, going for a set of softs to start the race, and then moving on to a set of super softs at the end. But obviously, if you don't know what might happen, a safety car, it can happen here. Quite often it does as well, but hopefully, this should be a very, very strong race for myself. Starting in a very, very strong 12th place here. Not really too sure how I managed to do that well still, but hopefully, we should be able to maintain that forward momentum as we move then into the Australian Grand Prix. P12 on the grid, just one row behind the points. Can we score points in our first ever race for Sauber F1 team, the slowest car on the grid? Let's move on then onto the starting grid, ready for the 5 red lights. But as you can see, Sergio Perez right ahead of us, Nico Rosberg right behind us, 5 lights, and away we go. And just the Sauber just didn't want to put down the power there. We actually got off to a very, very poor start there. Esteban Gutierrez already getting a very, very good start. Sergio Perez tries to slice his way between the McLarens. But going into turn 1, we took it very, very cautiously there. Lose 3 places to 3 different cars there, including Kvyat, Gutierrez, and I think the third one was Nico Hülkenberg there. As you see, Grosjean now is right behind us, but getting the slipstream down towards turn 3 here. I'm going to look back up the inside there. We again go very cautiously. We had to look up the inside, but just backed out of it. Really want to, save the front wing through these first couple of laps, because obviously it'll be crucial damage at this early stage of the race. Early stage of our career is not what we want to achieve. But now moving on to Sector 2 here, as you can see, right on Danny Kvyat's gearbox. Really just hoping, we can get as close to him as we can without making contact, obviously. He's on a set of super soft tyres here, so he does have the upper hand. But the AI aren't particularly strong on this opening lap as we move up his inside and also up the inside of Esteban Gutierrez there. But unfortunately for us, he gets the run out of the corner there, squeezes us right up to the wall as well. But we move up into P14 of the race there, nearly getting a wonderful double overtake there into the corner. But coming into the end of Sector 2 here, as you can see, Gutierrez pretty much pushes us into the wall there, coming into the fast chicane. The AI really struggling to notice the difference, like where your car is over themselves, as we nearly lose our part of our front wing there. But now moving on to the end of lap 1 here, as you can see, Esteban Gutierrez getting an absolutely horrendous run at the final corner. We're going to have a look up the inside into turn 1 on lap 2. Are we going to make a position stick? Yes, we do. And we move back up into P13 of this Grand Prix. So a very, very good opening lap 1 in the end. Only lost 1 position, as next up on our hit list is Jenson Button here, as you can see. At the end of lap 2, we've got him and then Fernando Alonso, and then we're just 1 place off the points if we can get past him. But moving into the final corner, we had a little look at it there, to try and, just making Button know we are considering the overtake here, even though how weak this Sauber is. As we can see there, just loads of different drivers light up the timing screens. I think Perez, yes, he does, goes quickest there in the end, but we're going to flick him into rich mix here. The car not particularly good on fuel saving, but having a look at turn 1, we have another little look there, but think better of it. Coming through turn 1 here now. Are we going to be able to get a move on Jenson Button? We run hugely wide on the exit of turn 1, losing the back end nearly. They're still trying to correct the back end there, but we finally managed to get it under control, but at the expense of a couple of seconds there. As Gutierrez now has a look round our outside. But coming into turn 4 there, he makes contact with us there. Just gives us absolutely no room, and we've actually ran off the circuit there. Gutierrez, mate, not really sure what your idea was there, as we've now dropped down to P19. That's the second time this race Gutierrez just hasn't given me any space whatsoever there. He really needs to just obey the rules and give the other car a track's worth of space. But we're now down in P19, and we really need to try and start recovering these positions. As we can see, now moving further on lap 3, coming into Sector 3 now. As you can see, we've got Pascal Wehrlein just ahead of us, and we've got yellow flags at this stage. Not really sure what this is all about, but there's actually a Force India there, Sergio Perez, facing sort of halfway around there, and the safety car also, I think, has just been deployed there. Let's have a look then. What happened to Sergio Perez? Because it's a very odd place to come together with someone. Just fast forwarding through the cars, I think this is Perez's helmet. Just coming down into the final few corners here, as you can see all these 90-degree corners, and they're going 3 wide ahead of him there. So what's actually going to happen is the other Force Indias are actually going to make contact, and that might actually have been Perez that does so. Yes, he does, and then Hülkenberg, I think this is, just comes in and just spins him around slightly there, loses his end plate as well. But 3 wide ahead of them, not really sure what they were attempting there. But the safety car now has been deployed to hopefully recover Sergio Perez's car, unless he can keep it going. I doubt he'll retire from the race, because it was just a light spin there. But as we can see, coming into the pit lane, are we going to actually make a pit stop here? This is our final option to do so, and we're actually going to follow a load of other drivers in here. Carlos Sainz, Rio Harriento and Romain Grosjean are the noticeable ones, as we've got a warning for yellow flag set. But as you can see, the car just refusing to accelerate there. Not really sure what this was all about. Seemed to be a little bit of a glitch, because I actually checked after the race, guys, and the pit lane limiter was not on. So I'm not really sure what that was all about. in all honesty. But coming into our pit box now, we've actually been jumped by a teammate, but for some odd reason we managed to get into the pit box beforehand. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining about that, because that might just have saved us a lot of time, as we're now down into P19 here, as you can see, just ahead of Roman Grosjean, and I think we're just behind Nico Hülkenberg here. But let's fast forward then on to the end of the safety car period, but hopefully, we should be able to make up a few positions on the restart, hoping, we can get another solid start here. Obviously, after our very, very weak first start of the Grand Prix. But we're actually over to P10 now, as a load more drivers have opted to make their pit stops. It's now lap 6, so the guys on the super softs can probably make it to the end on a set of soft tyres here now. Obviously, we can opt for that strategy as we were started on a set of soft tyres. But lights out, green lights, green flags even, not green lights. But coming through the final corner now, are we going to be able to make a very early move on Nico Hülkenberg? Obviously, straightlinespeed.com with that thing, probably not going to happen to us realistically. Kevin Magnussen, also note guys, is leading this Grand Prix at the moment. He opted not to make a pit stop there. As you can see, I think that's Max Verstappen there makes a move on Rio Haryanto into turn 1. Then Hülkenberg gets an absolutely beautiful run through the corner here. Is he going to go at the inside of Rio Haryanto into turn 1? We're going to have a bit of optimistic look as well, but we've actually nudged Nico Hülkenberg's rear end there, and we've damaged our front end plate there as him and Haryanto still go side by side. That end plate probably shouldn't cost us too much time, guys, I won't lie. But coming through the next couple of corners, we have a look up the inside of Nico Hülkenberg, get 2 wheels on the grass there. Are we going to hit position stick up the inside? He tries swinging it around the outside, but we take a lot of curve through the corner, and we move up into P9 of this Australian Grand Prix. 8 laps to go in this race, guys, and it's looking strong for us at the moment. We're in the points. I think Rio Haryanto may have to pit again, but I'm not too sure at the moment. But now moving on to lap 8, we've actually reeled in Rio Haryanto, the man I was just talking about. And are we going to be able to make a move very, very soon? Perhaps into the fast chicane here, as you can see. Closing in him so much into the braking zones there. The man are really struggling under braking here. Obviously, I've personally never driven it, but now moving on to the next straight, we have a look up the inside there. Haryanto doesn't really notice us there, but we're going 3 wide into the fast chicane there, and Hülkenberg just goes right around the outside of both of us there, but runs right through the second part of the chicane there, and we actually move up into P8 of this race. But I'm going to have a look at Nico Hülkenberg, how on earth he managed to whip it around the outside of both of us there into the fast chicane there. As you can see, we've actually gone up the inside of Haryanto here. As you can see, he just squeezed us, but we somehow managed to hold on with 2 wheels on the grass here. We're going on the cinematic shot, and Hülkenberg thinks, you know what, I'm going for it around the outside. I can get past these backmarker cars. Haryanto pushes Hülkenberg up to the wall, but he just goes balls out completely and manages to go round the outside of both of us. He then dips a wheel on the gravel there on the exit, and we move back up into P8 of this Grand Prix. But now moving on to lap 12 here, we've actually managed to close up on Fernando Alonso. He's in P6 at the moment, so we could be bringing him a good haul of points here, guys, as we've got a couple more AI just ahead of him. I don't know who that is, in fact. I think that's a Red Bull and potentially a Mercedes there. But don't hold me to that. But coming through now with the DRS, are we going to be able to get past Fernando Alonso here? Obviously, the McLaren Honda, probably the only car here with a weaker power unit than myself. But moving into turn 1, we get right on his gearbox here. Are we going to be able to make the move down into turn 3 here? Obviously, a very, very common overtaking place with these 2 long DRS straights. But are we going to go for the move up the inside? We're going to have a look up the inside of him. He's actually going to turn in on us, though, and we're just going to have to take to the gravel there. He just turns in on us, and that meant we couldn't get the steering lock. We managed to, for some reason, get a warning there. Not really sure what that's all about. As Alonso, we went up the inside, and he just turned in. So not really sure what that's all about. But unfortunately, now we've dropped back down to P8 of this race, just ahead of Felipe Massa, right in his clutches now. But as you can see, now moving on to the end of lap 13 here, Felipe Massa definitely piling on the pressure, obviously, with that straightlinespeed.com Williams that he has got. Obviously, we know with the Sauber, with the 2015 power unit, probably not going to be particularly strong down the straights. But Felipe Massa now on lap 14, 1 lap to go after this. Is he going to be able to make a move up the inside into turn 3, obviously, where we try going on Fernando Alonso? He's going to have a look at it, but he actually thinks better of it in the end. But we make slight contact with him there. Turns out he kept his front wing in there, and I just didn't notice it. But that has meant Felipe Massa's been spun around. But now on the final lap of the race, Roman Grosjean was now piling on the pressure with Daniel Ricciardo right on his gearbox as well. Sebastian Vettel has won the Australian Grand Prix, the opening round of the season. A very, very strong result for Ferrari here today. But coming now into the final couple of corners here, we're going to take home P8 in the Australian Grand Prix with our completely bog standard Sauber. I cannot believe we've scored points at the opening round of the season. What a way to start our career. now then, guys, just for confirmation of that end of race result there, Sebastian Vettel took the win ahead of Lewis Hamilton, with Valtteri Bottas getting a very surprise podium. Nico Rosberg in 4th place there. A bit of a disappointing race for him, as he is a world champion on this game. Fernando Alonso in P6, with Max Verstappen there. I just avoided him in P5, managed to hold his grid position. Nico Hulkenberg 7th, myself in 8th, Romain Grosjean 9th, Daniel Ricciardo getting a very disappointing P10, with Jenson Button again another disappointing result. Just missing out the points with Danny Kvyat in P12. But as I said, guys, an incredible result for the Sauber in this first race of the season. It's really going to boost us up the standings. You know, teams like Renault and Mana at this stage, obviously, of the season won't be scoring points either. So, you know, we could be on for P9 already in the constructors' standings. But moving on now, hopefully, you know, we'll have a further look down the grid. Just having a look at where other drivers finish, see if there's any surprise results. I've noticed, I don't think Kimi Räikkönen's anywhere good at the moment, as well as is my teammate Marcus Ericsson up in P13, Sergio Perez 14th, Julian Palmer 15th, Esteban Gutierrez 16th, Felipe Massa on a torrid day out in the end. Obviously he span out from us in P17 there, with Carlos Sainz 18th, Kimi Räikkönen right at the back of the grid there, not too sure what happened to him. But just having a look, obviously the drivers' standings will remain exactly the same as the race standings there, with Sebastian Vettel leading the way after the first race of the season. Mercedes will be leading the constructors though, with their 30 points they took from 2nd and 4th place there. With I think Williams might even be up. Ferrari will be in 2nd. Williams will be in 3rd. I think Red Bull will be in 4th place there, with either McLaren or McLaren then I think in 5th, with Sauber 6th. I think we might even be in 7th here, maybe even 8th. I'm not 100% sure, as obviously Toro Rosso scored no points there today. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. I'm just going to leave you now with sort of like how much R&D points we managed to gain in this Grand Prix. And obviously we got 2 penalties there. That was just for the warnings with Fernando Alonso. And I think also we got one for Felipe Massa. But having a look at the rivalry update, we absolutely smashed our teammate Marcus Ericsson there. Not really sure how well overall we will be doing against him, but we're into the purple already. And just having a look at the career score, we got 6,930 points. And just having a little look on the laptop, are we going to be able to afford any more upgrades before we move into Bahrain? Obviously, it's the prime time to do them. Just managed to get a couple more upgrades on the car. We're actually going to decide to upgrade the fuel efficiency. So, you know, this car's a little bit more economical. I really enjoy underfueling the cars on F1 2016, so we're going to roll with that upgrade. But anyway, guys, hopefully you have enjoyed this new series. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more F1 2016 content. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
So promise that you'll catch me.